I'm just going to come right out and say it, guys. If you don't have enough time to watch the end of this video, you think if you saw the runtime, you're a bit scared off, just do me a favor and add it to your never-ending YouTube watch later list of yearly December movie lists that all YouTubers are putting out nowadays. So just add it there. Welcome everyone to the League of Cinephiles. I'm the host, the creator, the CEO of all of it, Alex Helmer, bringing you some cinema-related content. Congratulations, guys. You've made it to the end of the world. Wait, no. In my opinion, guys, 2022 has been the best year so far for movies in this new decade. Unlike other years when it seemed like I had to, really work to fill up those 10 slots. This year, it was tough. I wanted to make a top 15. I want to make a top 20. I couldn't. Now, do me a favor, guys. Before I count down the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the League of Cinephiles, guys. If you like movie trivia, if you like movie debates, because who wouldn't like both of those things? Subscribe to the channel. I don't know what you're doing if you haven't done that already. Now, let's get to the list.
Great.
There's another great
Horror, thriller, sci-fi, bending film, Nope by director Jordan Peele. This is his third feature. Most people love Get Out. I was not one of those people who loved Us. And then Nope, I was hearing a lot of divisive things about it. Now, I will see the script issues that a lot of people have with this film, particularly when it comes to the comedy that's inserted into the film. This is Jordan Peele's weakest script to date, I'd say. Nope, a very unique take on the alien kind of UFO concepts that we've gotten since the days of the 50s with The Day the Earth Stood Still. From a technical side, the sound design, the visual effects when it comes to the UFO itself. Now, Jordan Peele, like guys like John Carpenter with A Car in Christine, like guys like Steven Spielberg with The Ocean and Jaws, it takes a really great filmmaker to make the audience scared of such an ordinary, such an everyday object. And that's kind of what Jordan Peele is able to do with the sky in Nope. Every time we get a wide shot, every time we see a character walking down, a really gorgeous backdrop, we look up at the sky, and even if there's nothing there, we think there's something there. We think there's something coming behind us. And I think that shows a lot from a filmmaking point of view from Jordan Peele and his growth. Steven Yeun, I think, steals the show in his limited screen time. Also, his subplot involving a monkey, you're kind of connecting the dots in terms of how it connects to the film. And I think how it does that is really fascinating. Now, guys, we talked about Nope, but we're not just done with the scares just yet. We have The Black Phone. When I heard Scott Derrickson, when I heard Ethan Hawke, when I heard 1970s, when I heard from Blumhouse that it was their scariest horror film to date since Sinister, I was incredibly excited. Scott Derrickson does an incredible job directing this, whether it's with his dollies, with the depth of field changes in the film. He really shows a complex understanding of the genre in a way where he can kind of twist it in certain ways and make you not expect certain scares that pop up in the film, certain things that the grabber, played by Ethan Hawke tremendously and really creepily, is able to do, as well as Hawke. Obviously, that's the big name in here, but I will say Mason Thames and Madeline McGraw, who play the two kid siblings in this film. This film doesn't work if you don't like these kids, which can happen often with child actors, but I really fell in love with their characters, their bond. It reminded me of my relationship with my little brother. I'm sorry, I don't want to scare you. This is recording December, but I gotta be truthful. Bones and All is one of the best movies of 2022. Now, obviously, when you read the synopsis for Bones and All, the two words that are going to pop up in your heads are cannibal kids. That makes sense because that's pretty notable, sticks out in your mind a bit. But at the same time, what really resonated with me within Bones and All was the compassion and relatability that Guadagnino's script was able to connect to with the viewer, alongside that creepiness and gore that we read in the synopsis and that we see in the film, which, by the way, I also love the mythology and the world building. Now, obviously, with a movie like, say, Avatar: The Way of Water, where they were given so much money, and by the way, I'm not crapping on that movie. I like Avatar: Way of Water, might even show up later on this list. It's kind of easier to illuminate this world that you wanted to create in Pandora, which James Cameron did very successfully, I may add. But with Bones and All, what really resonated with me as well is the very subtle world building that Guadagnino was able to convey within this film through the script, which has a lot of lingo, anecdotes that are unique to this film, and that kind of convey this maturity to the world and to this kind of condition that a lot of people seem to be born with and seem to be living through, such as our main characters of Taylor Russell and Timothée Chalamet. It doesn't just add compassion, but it adds a lot of complexity and grayness. Taylor Russell, she turns in maybe a top five, probably, what am I talking about? A top five lead actress performance in this film. I don't know why she's not getting as much Oscar buzz. Probably because the film is about cannibal kids. She shows this level of vulnerability that really is fitting for a character like this that is so young. I was able to connect to her through the situation, through the various mannerisms, the way she speaks, and Mark Rylance in here as well turns in one of the best supporting performances of the year.
I would avenge you, Father.
The Northman was one film that when I saw my direct reaction from it, I stood up and cheered. I was on the edge of my seat. It's one of those movies that makes you want to dive deep into that silver screen, makes you want to yell, makes you want to move around and take your shirt off and, until you realize that your body might not be in good of a shape as Alexander Skarsgård's. I'm not huge on Robert Eggers' work either. I don't like The Witch very much. I don't like The Lighthouse very much. And The Northman really connected to me. It takes a very simple tale that we've seen numerous times before. Its intimate nature brings out stakes and character moments that mean a lot. And although I'm not a big Shakespeare guy, those qualities worked for me in The Northman as it emphasized the moments of heart and emotion compared to the brutality in a very poetic and subtle way. Now, I'm not huge on Norse mythology. It's just not something I've really delved into. But I felt like this movie really emphasize those ancient texts and stories in the action as well, guys. What else more can I say? It's really badass, maybe the best of the year. I think actually it is by far. There are several moments where Eggers made me go, how did that happen? Including a very, very nice callback to a nose incident that happens in the movie. That's all I will say. You're feckin' right. The Banshees of Inisherin takes the 6th spot. Now, The Banshees of Inisherin is one of the more unique movies that's come out this year. I think you're basically hearing that from everyone who's walked out of this movie. And this is actually the first film on my list that I got the chance to see at TIFF 2022. And when I saw it, I was completely floored at how funny, how majestic, how subtle this film was. Now, the premise that you read, two former best friends who have a falling out and now, are at odds. You read that and you think, oh, there's something more to that. No. That's basically it. Which is best part about The Banshees of Inisherin is that it takes this really small, really obscure concept and makes grand, really meaningful messages and comedic beats out of that concept. The comedy is sharp. It's really well timed. The actors do a great job with that, specifically Barry Keoghan, who every time he's on the screen, he really lights up. He says something you don't even know what's going to come out of his mouth next. It's crazy. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, another one I got the chance to see at the Toronto International Film Festival. And what I loved about this film is what I've loved about Knives Out as well as Johnson's other work is that he's able to talk about pop culture in clever and meaningful ways, using references, callbacks, and jokes that go beyond these kind of superficial purposes and become something more meaningful to the themes presented in the film as well as the mystery itself. You got to be on your toes. You got to pay attention throughout this movie because Rian Johnson will take what you think is a really simple throwaway joke and make that a centerpiece for the mystery itself, which is a great screenwriting tool to have in the belt of an Agatha Christie inspired film like this. Daniel Craig comes back as Benoit Blanc, the next phase of his career after, James Bond's done. Now he's Benoit Blanc. And I have a feeling maybe in some time he's not as known for his work in James Bond, but he's more known for his work as Benoit Blanc in the Knives Out series. Let me know in the comments below. Highway to the number 4 spot. I almost want to take off my headphones for this one. I mean, maybe I should, because then, like a pilot in a cockpit, a real plane cockpit, my head might explode. Maybe that's how planes work. I don't know, guys. I'm too afraid of heights. I actually did not love this film when I saw it for the first time in theaters. I thought it was really good, but I didn't think it was as good as people were building up to me. People, who I had never even talked to me about movies before, or say Top Gun Maverick, best movie of my lifetime. And I didn't really get that. And I saw it again, actually, ironically on Paramount Plus, where you're not supposed to see it. And I loved it. What really stood out specifically on a second watch was the cinematography. It is, along with Avatar: The Way of Water, the best I've seen all year. The wide shots have this practicality to them, have this grand epicness towards them that you don't see a lot. They look real. They don't look fake. Pair with that is Hans Zimmer's score, where he takes a 1980s kind of aged score and adapts it to the modern day. as only Hans Zimmer can do. I think the actual logistics in terms of how the film introduces and builds upon the actual mission that our Top Gun pilots have to accomplish, familiarizing the audience with the mission, which really gets you engrossed into what our characters have to do. The ensemble here is so damn good, so good, way too good for a movie like this. How can, acting be good in a blockbuster? Well, just look at Top Gun Maverick. Guys like Glenn Powell, who steal the show. The smaller characters like Bashir Saluddin's Hondo. They all feel like they have this importance. And of course, I also have to mention Val Kilmer as Iceman coming back. I got the chance to see Val Kilmer a number of years ago at the height of his throat cancer, unfortunately. Not Hollywoodizing his unfortunate condition, but making it play a part in the story and allowing Val Kilmer to be able to do what he does, act. And he's great here, gives one of the best one-scene performances of the year, and has a really emotional scene with Maverick, played by Tom Cruise. What else can I say about the man? He is movies, specifically right now where the movie star has become obsolete. Tom Cruise, like they say in the film, is a relic of the past. He shows not just with his performance, but with the movie as a whole, that Tom Cruise is the hero of today. Now, I love the arc that they gave for Maverick as well. He has to learn to teach, he has to learn to settle down, while at the same time maintaining that wild man, Maverick lifestyle that he has in the past and that he continues to do. Coming in at number 3 is the first 2/3 of Babylon. Now, the first 2/3 of Babylon were really, really great. I really loved it until we got to the last hour. I'm joking, guys. But in all seriousness, Babylon would have been here without the last hour. But we're not here to talk about that. Let's move on to the real number 3. It's all a part of the menu. Ray Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, directed by Mark Mylod of Succession, my favorite show, not just today, but maybe of all time. Again, this is when I saw it TIFF. I was able to see it front row in front of the great Ray Fiennes, as well as the entire cast. It was a phenomenal experience. It's dark comedy, it's wit, is very akin to what I love and what so many others love about Succession. Just look at those Emmys. But it does a lot more as well. The rustic art direction, the score, the really scary editing as well. It really immerses you into a mysterious world that truly takes twists and turns that are unpredictable. Now, obviously, it's really hard with a thriller like this to make the audience feel as if they don't know what's going to happen next. But the menu, that is the definition of the menu. You don't know what's going to happen next. The culinary aspects, if you're a big foodie like me, you're going to love this film. What it does with the various dishes, the courses that come up on screen, which is, by the way, genius. Even though I'm not a chef, I'm a wannabe filmmaker. And so what this film talks about in terms of the arc that Ray Fiennes' character, the meaning of art in terms of kind of losing your way as a creator and having to find that back, I think a lot of creators would be able to connect to that. Is the best comic book movie we've gotten in I don't even know how long. I really think that this is the best we've seen the character and Gotham City as a whole adapted on the big screen. Now, the atmosphere of Gotham City, Greg Fraser's cinematography, Michael Giacchino's score, the costumes, it really fit for Gotham City and for what we've seen through all these mediums. Like I mentioned, Batman the Animated Series, which I'll bring up again, the film noir aspects. As a big film noir fan, the narration that we get from the beginning of the film to the end, the mystery is very well layered, from the involvement of the cops to the mafia to Bruce Wayne's family. And also Batman as a whole gets a really compelling arc, something that becomes very apparent at the end of the film, and we see the journey that Robert Pattinson's Batman has gone on and why we actually haven't seen that much Bruce Wayne in the film and why it's mostly Batman. Zoe Kravitz is the best Catwoman. Colin Farrell, I mean, there's a reason he has his own spin-off show now, right? Paul Dano, very similar to what he did in The Fabelmans. Don't worry, I'm kidding. And John Turturro, one of my favorite actors working today that nobody talks about. A great character actor, whether it is Carmine Falcone in The Batman, where he's slimy but also likable at the same time, or whether it's a guy like Irving in Severance, which again, I won't get to because again, this video is already too long. Please, guys, rewatch it. I don't know. Why are you forgetting about the Batman? Why are people forgetting about the Batman? Let me know because I'm actually very curious to know. Quick honorable mentions. Q Transition, The Whale, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, by the way, I've only seen it once, so could move up on this list in terms of actually being on the top 10. Fresh, X, and Ryan Howard's new film, Vengeance. But my number one of the year is...
What was your favorite part?
Now, guys, Fabelmans was another movie I got the chance to see at TIFF. It was my favorite from the festival. I got the chance to rewatch it, and my thoughts remain the same. This is one of Spielberg's best pieces of work, by far his most relatable work. Sammy Fabelman's dilemma between art and family is something that a lot of people go through, and it is something that I am able to connect to and able to deduce in terms of the complexities of it. And it also shows how cinema can change lives, how it can twist lives and make them seem different than they actually are. We saw that with the bully storyline. We see that with Spielberg's parents and how cinema enabled him to find out about his parents' affair and led him down this dark path of maybe, you know, I shouldn't be a filmmaker. And I think the performances are a big reason as to why the themes presented are so powerful. Michelle Williams gives the best supporting performances of the year. Judd Hirsch and John Ford, because David Lynch give great one-scene performances here. Judd Hirsch, obviously we talk about him a lot, but David Lynch as John Ford, one of the coolest, most dope casting decisions I've ever seen. And that scene at the end, it won't make you cry, but it'll make you think, it'll make you laugh, and it'll make you appreciate cinema as a whole. Spielberg as a director as well, something I appreciate about him is that he makes every scene feel and look different. There's not one scene in The Fabelmans that is shot the same, which gives every scene the ability to stand out. The Fabelmans is a type of film where that needs to happen because it's trying to do so many different things at the same time. And I think it's able to juggle those themes, those characters, those various subplots and characters very well. I think The Fabelmans is the best movie made in 2022. The list, it's done. My one list a year that I make, because I don't have enough time to do the rest of them. But if you like this and you think I should do more, let me know in the comments below. I don't really do these lists with you guys. I don't usually talk to the camera without an actual physical audience or other people, you know, within the stream. So if you think this is good, if you think I should do more of it, I'd be welcome to. Just let me know in those comments, guys. Like the video, share it with your friends. Again, guys, subscribe to the channel. Really, really help us out. We're trying to build something big here. Check out other content. Hope you all had a great year. Can't wait to see you all in 2023. Ciao.